Welcome. This is I don't know which one. We had a few already, haven't we? Practical
Right.
awakening sessions. Quite a few. This one is at a different time. Now we are on Sundays, Australian time, and US time, Saturday.
Saturday.
And we'll stay, we'll stay at this time for a while till we can.
Yep.
Any suggestions, please put them in a box or put them in the comments or anywhere. Now, today, which is really exciting in a way, we're going to talk about must do thing for everyone who is seeking enlightenment, for spiritual seekers. I'm being a bit bombastic, which I think I'm usually not. You know, those big headlines, one thing, there is this one thing. There are probably more than one thing, but let's say this thing is really important. Anjali, hello to you. You've been with me for a
I
while now. I
die.
haven't said. Um, what do you reckon about today's topic?
I have to say I read it when you gave that topic to me and I thought, I wonder what direction she's going to take it. And I couldn't really write a description like I usually do for the YouTube viewers. And I thought, well, this is just like, what's the one thing? The one thing that must be done. I mean, I've been trained more in I don't know, like with a master and whatever. So he had procedures and whatever, but there were a lot of things involved. It wasn't just one thing, it wasn't simple. It was always a little bit more complicated. And that's what I've always appreciated about you is that you've come into my life and now things are getting simpler. It's just breathing and mantra. And it makes it like easy to remember and easy to practice. But yes, I don't know what that one thing is.
But you see what I did is, you see what I did? I've already showed my hand when I made that video a few days ago, you know, like saying, are you spiritually awake and all that. So I've already just, you know, showed the direction in which we're going today. And you watched that video, didn't you? Like, are you
Yep.
spiritually awake, blah, blah. So have you made the connection between today's practical awakening in that video?
I think I have, but it also brought up a little bit of fear because I remember you talking about like a lot of people just being in their heads about being awakening or being on the path to awakening. And so I thought, gosh, if I've just been fooling myself all this time, doing all these practices, and yet, where am I? Like, really, where am I in this whole process? And so I was witnessing, and fear came up. And then I thought, okay, well, I don't know where I am. We just have to proceed. And I have to get some
You see,
results.
Angie, I like that. You know me, I like that. I like that position. I don't know. I think this is the position that people should just really take and embrace.
Mm,
Otherwise, we're really mentally engaging. But when we say, I don't know, I'm just completely open. Whatever is, okay? As we said, acceptance. We're completely open. We
right,
accept it. We don't know where we are. We don't know where we're going, but it's okay. We're
right.
doing, as I always say, I repeat myself all the time. We do what needs to be done, and that is practice, okay? And everything else will go the way it needs to go. And, it just, this way, it is just so completely simple. And I know
Mm,
that things look complex, and these things, especially spiritual seeking, is been made so complex in some ways that people get lost in all these complexities and as I said to you, and I already said on some of the videos, I just, in a way, it is so much waste because there are millions and millions and millions of spiritual seekers these days, which is so lovely. And the world needs enlightened people.
mm,
Enlightened people. So this is a step towards enlightening, but has to be a step in the right direction. That is so important. It can't be just mental engaging all the way. It can't be just indulging in seeking. You know, a lot of people just somehow mentally indulge in seeking. It has to be a bit out of the comfort zone. It has to be practice. You see, people are so comfortable sitting and practicing because that's mostly, even that is mostly mental engagement to the very high degree. But transferring that practice into everyday life, into whatever you do, whether you walk, whether you know what I mean, whether you stand, whatever you're doing, that is the challenge. And that is what's important.
Mm.
That is what's important. So I really want to now talk about this experience that is so different from spiritual seeking, that is mental spiritual seeking. Let's say there are two ways of experience. There is this mental experience, and then there is a chest experience. I would just call it like that, a chest experience and a mental experience. Now, as you probably know, and I also said that many times, I have had these chest experiences throughout my life, but I just wasn't aware that other people don't have them, or at least not that often. We all
Mm.
have them, but some people just have them really, really momentarily. They're not aware of them, they don't identify them. And the biggest difference in these two experiences is that this one is plugged in, it's charged. It's like you are on a grid somehow, plugged into the grid, into this energy field. I can actually even feel some sort of a vibration all the time. Some people just call it a, I don't know, higher energy intensity. It's like a much more, maybe stronger, more explosive sort of an energy, like you are really blowing up and spreading, like it's believe me, it is a big difference. And the more you practice, the more you feel the difference. And the experience, the mental experience, that is experience that a lot of people connect obviously with the head, with the brain, with the even a third eye or whatever they call it. It's just running on empty. You're not plugged in. And there is a big difference in the hum, in the vibration, in the energy. There is it's almost nothing. It's completely empty. I can't
Mm.
experience it now anymore in its totality, but it's a huge difference. And you, Angie, once said like a full body experience. You use that expression. And maybe that is something that can be used to. This is a full experience, completely full, charged experience. And this is just like really empty. It is just like those, everything is just on some sort of a screen. Now, I want you to pay attention to this when you practice, and we are going to do it now. I want you to really intentionally put a focus onto the chest area. And when you breathe and use the mantra is important, it just helps focus. Focus at the same time on the chest area. And we will do it now together. But what I'd like you to do is this: do not close your eyes, keep your eyes open and look at me, look at my eyes or whatever. Focus on something on the screen. Don't close your eyes. Just we try it this way. So we keep our eyes open, we focus on something on the screen, keep our focus there. Maybe you even put your hands on your chest. I mean, just for the start, just to understand that this is where the focus is, this is where the connection comes from. This is where the charge or the vibration or the connection will happen through the heart, through the chest area. Not here. Nothing happens here, okay? Nothing happens here. The connection, the charge, the switching on, the plug-in. Let's say it's a plug-in. It happens here in the chest area. Some people say when they have this sort of enlightenment experience that it feels like the chest is going to explode and stuff like that. But this is obviously a very momentary sort of experience. But I just want to point to this chest area. And now we do this, we practice. So we in breath, out breath, the mantra. Focus on the screen, don't close your eyes. And we'll do a few minutes now together. I will zip my mouth, okay? Now I'm going to talk a bit more. I want to say this too. You're not setting yourself for anything. You just focus on the chest and you breathe and you use the mantra. We're not setting ourselves for anything. Any observation, any this, any that, any nothing. We just do it. And when we finish, we do not go and talk about it or try and put it into words. We do not go straight away and make notes about what we experienced. We just leave it, okay? We leave it. Whatever it was, that's it. Because I've also noticed that a lot of people indulge so much in putting everything into words. Oh, I experienced this. Oh, I experienced that. Oh, did you experience this or that? Let's compare notes about what we experienced. This is completely mental experience, okay? And it makes it even more mental by doing that and by sharing these observations. And then we're already setting ourselves to observe certain things, do they happen? Have I
Mm.
observed this, or have I observed that, or have I? Let's compare with this other person. What have they observed? Oh, let's look what I can observe the same next time when I practice, and just cut all this crap out. And I'm sorry about the word, okay? So we
Mm.
just nothing. We don't mentally express it. We don't set ourselves for anything. We just plainly breathe and use a mantra. And when? Now it doesn't happen to me anymore, but now I will now talk to you, Angie, about this because it doesn't happen to me anymore. So please. So you set yourself, you breathe and you use the mantra, and then the thought comes, okay? And you engage with the thought. Is that how it happens?
For me,
Yeah. When you practice, like you can have a few in breaths, out breaths, and then a thought comes and you find yourself engaged with the thought, or it's not how it happens.
honestly, just now when I was doing that, there was not much thought activity. There was occasionally like I blink and then you blink. I was aware, like, oh, she blinked. But that, and then of course, the whole time I felt this, I felt like someone was squeezing my chest, like I couldn't breathe. So that actually was
Okay.
holding my attention in a very real way, like in the sensory thing. And like the thoughts were not coming very, like anything outside of like, here I am,
Yes.
but like my contacts are drying. I mean, I had sensory things
Yes.
that were sort of happening, but the chest
Yes. You
sensation
see,
was
this is
terrible.
you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Angie, it takes time, okay? At the start, I experienced a very huge tension in the chest, and then I eased and got out of it, and then went back. Now, when I've practiced it for a long time, and I still practice every day, all the time, as I tell you, there is no more tension.
Mm,
And this focus on the chest actually keeps the thoughts away, doesn't it? Keeps the
it
thoughts away
does.
more than if you are mentally engaging. If you are up here,
Mm, I would agree.
Yeah, that's why it's so important. That's why it is so important. So you persevere with it. When the tension is too much, you ease out. You stay. You do something, or you whatever. You get back to it. The experience itself and staying with it for as long as it is comfortable. When it's not comfortable, you get out of it. But frequent repetition whenever you can. This is the go. This is the thing. Having focus here actually keeps the thoughts away for much longer. And then you can expand it and you can deepen it with time and so on and so on. The tension dissipates with practice.
Is the fact that I touched felt like that's what was causing the pressure. As soon as I like pulled my hand away, there wasn't as much pressure on that
Yeah,
space.
I'm doing it just because I want to draw people's away. I don't do it usually. I mean, I
Right,
don't hold my hand. I'm doing it today just because I'm trying to, bring people's attention here. And I said the same to people, just to do it, just to, you know, make sure that the focus is here, because a lot of people are so used to having the focus up there. The
right.
focus needs to come down. That's all. Otherwise, I never, I don't keep my hands. I keep my hands wherever. It doesn't really matter.
Mm,
And now the next step would be, of course, which is so very crucial, to get up and to do this while standing, while walking slowly. I started with walking, To me, the walking was the first thing, the first transfer. I was walking and practicing. Or some people might stand and practice, walk and practice, slowly walk and practice. You see,
mm.
can we? Do you have a phone, Angie? Are you on a phone or on a computer?
I'm on a phone, but it will be like it's attached to a light and some other things. So I'm glued here while I'm on this thing.
Oh, okay. Because I just would invite, if you think it's okay if I get up and walk a bit. I mean, my phone is not attached to anything.
Unless
And
we
I
all get
invite
dizzy.
everyone. Oh, that's true. That's true. I won't do it for long. But I just want to say these people really honestly, stop sitting. Stop sitting. You have to start transferring this practice into everyday life situations. So I don't want to make people dizzy now, Angie. I'll take your advice. So I'm not going to get up. But what I want to say is this: you do get up when you practice. You do get up and you practice also not sitting. Start with very slow walking, because if you walk quickly, then it's maybe at the start a bit more difficult to practice. But if you walk really slowly at the start, it makes it easier to practice. And once you become comfortable with that, then you can walk faster too. It doesn't make any difference. Then all these other occasions, please, I mean, really do it. Do it. Do it while you tell the manager, please, I've already said that so many times. I want someone else to say it.
Do
When
it while you
all
wash the
just name,
dishes. Wash the dishes while you drive, if you can, while you drive, um, while you shower, while you vacuum or clean, while you do outdoor work, raking, whatever you do in your part of the world. Um, yeah, everything.
yeah, eating, sitting in a
Mm,
meal. You can even invite someone else to share it with you. Now, we
mm,
don't, obviously, some people live on their own, like I do, but some people live with someone else. Some people even live with someone else who's got some sort of an inclination, even a small one, towards peace of mind, even if not spiritual seeking. This is just peace of mind thing, really. How to be able to get out of mental engagement, which just plagues us all. It's a plague. It's something that we're all exposed to all the time, and we are just so helpless usually with it. We just fall victims to it. We have no control over it. And a lot of us even think that we instigate it, but we're not instigating anything. We're just engaging with all these mental concepts that are just here all the time. This universe is a mental universe. So please do it, not just sitting, but very importantly, doing other things during the day whenever you can. And the sooner you make that transfer, the more capable you will be to actually control the thoughts, not engage with the thoughts, and extend this practice to all parts of the day and night before you fall asleep. Absolutely great time to do it. When you wake up in the morning, first thing, great time to do it, regardless of the position. You see, also this, I know that there are people who are very sort of concerned about a position they have while they practice. To me, that was very easy because number one, I cannot cross my legs for more than a couple of minutes because my back hurts too much, my legs hurt, la 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 la. I was never comfortable with
mm,
it. I don't sit on a chair. I usually sit on the ground. That was my habit since I was a little child. So I just always loved sitting on the ground. I love being grounded. I lie on the ground also very often, which I find
mm.
beautiful way to practice too. I just want to say, do not be stuck by being in a certain position. There is no, I have not found any position that would sort of, I mean, with habit, you obviously habitually have certain positions more than others, but otherwise, whatever position you're in. What's your attitude, Angie, towards this position? What position you are in while practicing?
Well, I've loosened up over the years for sure because my body is not as young as it used to be. So, my right knee is a little messed up and I don't sit cross legged anymore like I used to for like 20, 30 years, cross legged all the time. Um, so, I usually do my morning practice on a Seiza bench. Um, and then after that, it's either laying down, I'll do it, the evening practice, not in bed, just laying on the floor in like shavasana position or something like that. But yeah, the rest of it's just moving. I mean, I'm doing dishes. I now can do it driving, but I'm not in a big metropolitan area. I mean, and I stay on the same roads, kind of back roads, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You see, because this is the thing too, like a lot of people obviously imagine things about how it is when you're in the space. Let's call it a space, when we
Mm,
connect directly. When we're in the space, we're completely aware of everything. I'm aware of all the sounds, of all the sights, of everything. I just don't engage, okay? But I'm not unaware. I'm not unaware of it. I want to make this so when I drive and while being in a space, I completely am present. I'm completely aware of everything that's on the road, off the road, the sounds, the speed, the everything. I can keep the speed much better when I'm in the space than
right.
when I'm high up, closer to the surface. You know what I mean? It's just completely automatic. I just want
Yeah.
to point that out. Some people are sort of scared that when they are in the space, they sort of somehow lose contact with the so-called reality, with this physical world. It is not correct at all. And
Mm,
even the thoughts, please, I really want to point this out. I do not engage with the thoughts, but I do notice them. I know what they're about. Okay, I don't know. I'm not just. I don't, what would you call it? In some completely space, while I'm physically present in this world, I'm just aware of everything, also the thoughts that are passing. I just do not engage. Sometimes I notice something that's quite hilarious and very stupid, and I'm thinking, oh, I mean, thoughts can be so stupid, thoughts can be so trivial, thoughts can be
mm,
so really, honestly, well, you find another expression for it, aren't you? I ran out of expressions. So,
yeah.
I
Can
just
you
want
say
to
a
say
little bit?
this,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, I finished.
No, I just wanted you to say some more about thoughts because, I've always, in that one video I saw of yours, you're talking about thoughts just being present, that like I'm not the doer or the creator of any of those thoughts, that they're just there. And that's a kind of a foreign idea for me. I've always thought like my brain is thinking these thoughts and it just keeps spewing this crap out. And, I got to tamp it down or something or look the other way so I'm not like attaching to it. But yeah, if you could say something more about that.
you see, we have this universe. This is actually a mental universe, but we experience it as a physical universe because we are fixating on it. And this fixation is not just one lifetime, but many successive lifetimes fixation. I'm going to again say something I've already said many times. It is when we dream, we also experience the physical reality, which is mental reality, but it's experienced as a physical reality. But because we are not conscious, we're not consciously fixating on something. It's just, it's got a different sequence. Okay, the things can change very quickly. They can go from one thing to
Mm,
another very quickly. You can even look differently. You can be in a different person, or all sorts of things. That's just because we are not conscious, and we are not consciously fixating on I, me, and
mm,
environment, and going with one action, till it finishes, and then starting. This is a conscious fixation. So when we sleep, there is no conscious fixation. So everything is just sort of going here and there and everywhere, and you can be in one space and then somewhere else completely, or you can even move. You know how it is in a dream.
right.
That's the difference. But this absolutely everything else is the same. It is just mental concepts. Like this universe, this human world we live in is made of mental concepts. This is the creation, mental concepts. It's a mental creation. It is not a physical creation. But we experience it as physical creation because of the fixation on it. And because of obviously, so these mental concepts that create the world, the universe, are always here, Angie. They're always here. They're not going anywhere else. They're always here, and we all partake in them. but we attach to different mental concepts depending on our karma, you see. But they are all communal. All the mental
Oh, I
concepts
see.
are communal. It's like a space full of mental concepts, the space that is
Mm,
made of mental concepts. So we can all access them, but we access them differently depending on a karma, you know. This is the karma. What sort of thoughts we attach to? You attach to
mm,
different thoughts than me. I don't attach anymore, but I used to a lot. So we have different karma, Angie, okay? Because the
mm,
thoughts are the ones that make us act in a certain way, and
right.
which is what we do in life and which direction we're going. It's thoughts. So you attach to certain thoughts. This is your karma. I used to attach to different sort of thoughts, maybe that is my karma. But on average, Angie, if we were compare thoughts during the day, if there was a machine that could register all the thoughts we had, we would probably work out that 80 or 90% of the thoughts are just the same for all of us, you know.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm in a hurry. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that. Oh, you know what I mean? Or I'm
Right.
going to have a breakfast now. Or what am I going to eat? What am I going to buy? What am I going to have for dinner? What am I going to cook? La 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 la. Where am I going for a holiday? La 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 la. Should I? You know, if you think
Right.
about it, Angie, quite honestly, you will realize that 80, 90%, probably maybe even more, percent of the thoughts are just we have the same thoughts. There are
Mm,
no original thinkers, Angie. There are no original thinkers. There are no original thoughts. Thoughts are just here. And then it just depends what we attach to, what sort of thoughts we attach to, which is our karma, which is our karma. That's why I always say, once we can put a space between ourselves and the thoughts, so we're not automatically attaching to the thoughts, we actually get away from the karma. And you see, this is the big thing.
I remember you said that. Yeah.
Because you
It's
might
very.
have all these thoughts indulge during the day and all these thoughts about things, Angie, that you have no experience of. So I always
Mm,
say, cut out those thoughts that you have no experience about. They have no foundation in reality. Just be practical, practical, be practical. It's so important. If someone asks me something that I have no experience of, I say that. Look, I do not know because I have no experience of that. I can mentally engage and now guess. But my guess is as good as yours, Angie, okay? You know what I mean? It will be just mental engaging. But if I have not experienced this thing, Angie, just don't know. And I'm perfectly happy to say I do not know.
yeah.
I do not know how it is to about many things because I have not experienced them. But I do know about the things that I have experienced and I can share the experience about that. So it's very important that even when we are not completely in the space yet, that we have some sort of control over thoughts. That if something really stupid comes, we say, bloody hell, it's just, you know, F off. I mean, I'm not engaging in this stupidity. Or if you find yourself engaging in something that you have no experience of, say, that's completely trivial, that's completely nonsense. I have no experience of that. And thoughts about something that I have no experience of are just completely meaningless. They're
So
just guessing. And
you're
they're usually
saying
wrong.
you're saying when thoughts come that you don't have any direct experience, which is, I guess there's practical thoughts about when am I gonna, like, I need to cook something now, I need to eat, I need to get someplace. Those are all practical, like,
Absolutely practical. You
temporal
can do them on
thoughts.
autopilot. But let's
Right.
say, for example, I will take your example, Angie, and I apologize, but I know it's not intrusive. We already
Yeah,
said
no
that you're looking
worries.
for jobs. Now,
Mm,
Angie, you're looking for a job somewhere you have not worked before, okay? So you might be mentally engaging full on for quite some time into thoughts about how this is going to be and spend quite some time and coming even to some conclusions how this is good or not good. But Angie, frankly, you just don't know, okay? You have no experience
right.
about that. So just cut out this indulgence. It's just not leading you anywhere. But you go there and experience it, experience the environment, experience the people, and then you have some experience. And then you can say, okay, I've been there. The environment didn't sit well with me. The people there that I spoke to, or I just did not really resonate with me, and I'm going to cross it out. But then
Mm.
Angie, you know what you're talking about. You've been there. You met people there. Maybe you spend one day there just to give it a go, just to sort of, you know what I mean, see what it's like, and then
Right.
and then you can say something about it. That's what I mean. If you don't have experience of it, don't indulge in all this thinking about it. It's pointless. And it leads you astray. And it can often leads you into making really, really bad decisions. Because you're just making decisions based on imagining something that you have no experience of.
Yeah.
And when you actually did and you experience it, it's usually completely different anyway, you know what I mean?
Right. What I've noticed is that when I'm there, let's say I walk into the job or the interview or something, I'll be there, and then my mind immediately after or even during it will start, it will lay over the top of the experience like multiple layers of mental stuff based on my past or based on like future imaginings or whatever. So it's interesting. I feel like I have to parse it out and back up into the direct experience, but I don't always trust that. I don't always
That's,
trust it.
aren't you, why
Yeah.
you practice during the day, and when you go there you try and stay just a little bit inside the space. When you have once you have this experience of the space, just try and experience something from the space directly,
Mm,
even a few moments. Once you will see, aren't you, with practice, once you start gaining a bit of control over the thoughts, you can gain more and more, and you can actually put a space between yourself and the thoughts, and you can
right.
say, okay, these are the thoughts, but I'm not necessarily taking them seriously. I'm not necessarily engaging with them because they have no foundation in experience.
Right.
It's a
There's a
gradual
mix.
it's a gradual
It
process.
is. It is. And I've just watched, I mean, this whole process of job looking has been really interesting because I notice there's fear that creeps in, and I see a lot of mental activity that's motivated by fear. Fear like, if I don't take this job, will I get another one? Will I ever find a job that resonates with me because I have a narrower range of what resonates and what I'm looking for, what I'd like to be comfortable in. Maybe I need to just take something that doesn't fit, and just try it and just keep going because life doesn't really matter. It's short. I mean,
You
so
go with it, Angie. Absolutely. You
yeah.
go with it. Number one, you've learned, once you get the ball rolling, as we say, once you actually make some action in a certain direction, you learn a lot of things. You start to
Mm,
experience a lot of different, more things come to you. You've learned a lot of things already. Number one, there are jobs and jobs and jobs.
mm,
Thinking that there will be no other job that's just crap. There will be always jobs, Angie. Now, whether the jobs suit you or not, of course, a lot of jobs don't suit you. That's a given anyway. And so on and so on and so on. You learn a lot of things about jobs, about yourself, about what's out there, what you find suitable or not. And in the end of the day, it's a huge learning curve where you actually learn about yourself, you learn about the world, you learn about how things are, and you learn about acceptance. Sooner or
right,
later, you just accept, look, this is how it is, Angie, okay? This is how it is. This is what's out there. These are my preferences that don't necessarily come together because my preferences are just not really fitting with the real world experience or what's out there. You see what I mean?
right,
Then I just sort of, then maybe you even take something and just for the sake of trying it out, you can always change. You can always, nowadays people change jobs very often. I've changed many jobs in my lifetime, many businesses in my lifetime. It's really not a big deal in a way.
but you feel comfortable in the job you have, though. I mean, there's a certain space to just be in your silence and still continue working.
Yeah, I do. But you see, it wasn't my first choice. Like I did the same thing.
Mm,
I've applied for a few different ones, and then I went for the one that I felt was I felt here in the chest that that was the right one. The people I could communicate with in a way that I found meaningful, not just, you know, a lot of times there is communication
Mm.
in this world that is completely meaningless. We just talk things that we need to say, and we exchange things that need to be exchanged, and but it's absolutely rather meaningless. It's more like some sort of a must do sort of, So I applied for a couple of different ones, and one didn't sit well with me here. Mentally, it had all the right aspects, but here it didn't sit well, so I crossed it out. And the other one,
Mm.
mentally, it had all the wrong aspects. It was too small, to this, to that, too cramped, to blah, 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 blah. But the environment, when I was there, when I was actually there inside with the people that were there, I really felt really a resonance. I felt this is it. This is it. And I took it. I'm
Mm.
very happy that I took it.
So this
But you
leads
have
me
to try
actually
out,
try out some,
please,
but
Angie.
the question, this relates to back what how we started this live stream. So we're talking about practicing all day and finding that
Not
silence,
all day.
finding that, well, as much as we can throughout the
Yeah.
day,
In short
moving.
bursts, Angie. In
Yeah,
short bursts, even if it's a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Yeah.
right. But we're talking about like the occurrence of it happening more frequently and not necessarily a depth. I mean, we're looking for repetition rather than depth here. So, in relation to a job as a topic, as an example topic, how important then are the people we're with in terms of energy or resonance, or I mean, is it more job skills that we're just trying to fit together and say, well, it's quiet enough of an environment, I can do my practice? Or, like in my case, let's just make it personal. Am I just really trying to find a resonance with people, a fit with people? Not that they can understand my practice, but that there's a space and some kind of overlap or understanding about
Yes.
the space. I don't know what I'm saying here. I've lost my
Yeah, 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 yeah.
mind.
Absolutely. I understand you completely. Completely. And I'm sure a lot of people out there too. Look, the most important things are the people and the environment. People are the biggest part of environment, is it? Not all, but very important. Very important. Everything else is just an execution of a certain skill that you obviously have to have if you want a certain job. But that is not the primary aspect when you're looking for a job. You've already chosen, let's put it this way, you've already chosen certain jobs. I mean, you're not, you haven't chosen hundreds of jobs, but let's say you've chosen 5 different jobs. So you
Right.
would really look for people. Can I find some resonance with people that I'm going to spend? This is very important. That I'm going to spend a lot of time with, okay, on a daily basis. Let's not underestimate that. A lot of time with on a daily basis. And this environment that I'm going has to be become my second home in a way somehow, that I'm comfortable enough there that I can take it.
So that resonance with people, what am I trying to say? I keep losing my thread here. Like, the resonance with people is like, how should I say it? In other words, I have this job offer that the activity is very easy, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of space and a lot of air just to remember my mantra, to remember my breathing. But the people there is, except for one, there is like no resonance. We have no even commonalities, nothing. Absolutely. And they feel very heavy, like dense energy. Will that, here's my question. I just remembered it. If you're surrounding yourself with people who are like fairly dense energy, I don't know how else to explain it. Does that affect
Heavy,
my
heavy.
ability
They are heavy.
Does that
They
affect
are
my
heavy.
ability to retain my, like, direction or
Absolutely.
my
And it makes
path?
it difficult. It makes it a chore every day to stay there for whatever hours you need to stay there. It's just heavy. It's heavy. It's pushing up the hill.
Mm. I thought maybe I could unplug and detach from that energy and just do my job, and I wouldn't be affected, but I don't know. Maybe not.
For so many hours a week. What, 30, 40 hours a week?
40. Yeah.
No way, Angie. I mean, no way. You'll spend more time there than at home, really, if we take away the sleeping. You know what I mean?
Right.
It has to be a. I can't see. If you go somewhere where it's already hard, where it's already like an effort to even be there, it's an effort. How are you going to extend this effort into 40 hours a week?
I'm pretty tenacious.
No,
Pretty
Angie, but
disciplined.
sooner or later, you will come to the point where it will be a breaking point where we just really,
Mm,
you will feel in the morning, I just don't want to go there. I just don't want to go
mm,
there. And there is an environment that you go from that it's just perfectly fine.
easy,
It's not like
right.
coming home, but it's very close. It's just perfectly fine. And I've got these environments that are perfectly fine. And whatever I do there, it's completely fine
Mm,
because the environment is just totally okay. You know what I mean? And if I say something to someone, I know that they will understand me on a certain level. If I say to them, please just let's leave me alone for 2 hours today. I'm not in the mood of no one will take it against me. No one will think that I'm a weirdo or there's something wrong with me. Everyone will just think that's okay. Someone comes in and
mm,
says, look, I'm very heavy today. I feel like really sad and all that. So, you know, that person is given a few hugs and then, they all take very soft approach towards that person on that particular day, and they deal with it the way they deal with it. But you know what I mean? It's just something you want people to be just sensitive enough. Let's put it this way, sensitive enough and direct enough to be able to just accept and give in a very direct way.
mm. Yeah.
But look, Angie, you will know. You will know. You don't want to be in an environment that's already heavy the moment you step in there, and then becomes just heavier. And then a few days in, you just feel, I mean, do I really want to go there? No, I don't want to go there.
Yeah. As you know, I have that pendulum that swings. So, like I say, like I get the no response when I'm there physically experiencing it, and then I overlay it with a ton of mental processing. Like, well,
No,
these are all the good
just go
points,
with
and
practical.
right.
Just go with practical physical experience. It's heavy. It's heavy. I used to go to jobs where, like, the first month, that's before I started my own business, that is so long ago. Anyway, the
Mm,
first couple of weeks were okay. But after that, every morning when I went to work, I was thinking, I don't want to go there. I don't want to be there. And then I was just thinking, okay, I'm staying with it and something will come up because I'm already transitioning. I know I don't want to
right.
be there. I know I don't want to. And I did, find a way out. But I want to
Uh,
say, it's just with you. And it's not easy, Angie, to do it every day. Believe me. Every day I drag my feet to that job, and I'm thinking every morning, for how much longer?
right.
But I
So,
go there. Let me say this: I go there, I do my job. You know what I mean? I'm not
right.
holding
Hmm.
back. I do my job and all that. But it's just heavy. It's just so heavy.
So, how important is it to surround yourself with family that is like, let's say they're not on the same wavelength, or they are on the same wavelength? I mean, what does that influence how we take our practice and move forward?
Angie, I would put it just from my experience. Okay, I'm talking my experience. I had very heavy. I had very heavy family members, and I just
Mm,
completely dissociated. Okay, no guilt involved. And then I have family members that are really resonated and that I'm keeping them close. But the ones that I
mm,
didn't, and not all of them alive anymore, but some are, I just dissociated completely. I've got nothing against them. I can sit down with them and for a short period of time, have lunch, have a chat about weather and everything else. But no, I mean, no, no, a close association once a year, twice a year, that's about it. You know what I mean?
Did they fall away naturally, or did you actually make more of an effort to make that happen?
Well, it just happens that way. It's just the way I feel. It's just the way it's the right way. That it's, you know what I
Mm,
mean. And I want to say
mhm,
this. When you, I want to point out this, that when you feel heavy in some relationship with someone, even a family, there is heaviness in the on their part too. Let's not misunderstand that. I'm going to put now one example, and excuse mom because I'm going to talk about you now. My mom's been dead
mhm,
now for a few years, but I want to say this. Look, my mom and me, we just never, ever, ever, we just couldn't get on. Okay, and when we were sort of trying, we were trying because it was the right thing. Okay, you know, a
mhm,
mother and a daughter, and you know how it is, and then society's pushing this thing. You just have to, you know. It was so heavy. It was just such a burden. It was just. And I knew, Angie, I knew at a certain point that it was burden on the other side too. It wasn't just my burden, it was her burden too. Let me make this understood. People sometimes think wrongly that if there is a burden in the relationship, it's just on one side. That is not the case. When there is a heavy burden, it's on both sides. It was a very heavy burden for my mom too, to
mm,
try and stay with this sort of thing, like being a mom, being a good mom, being caring, whatever she thought was, when it was so difficult, Angie, when it was so heavy, when whatever she got from me was always a fight back, a refusal, a denial, wanting
mm,
to do something different. You understand what I mean? For her it was so
mm,
difficult, Angie, from a very early age. Whatever she advised, whatever I always did completely different. We were just never on the same page, Angie. As simple as that. And I realized that when we let go, I let go and she let go, it was such a relief, Angie. And later on, we were even able to occasionally talk on the phone and stuff like that, completely fine. You know, a
mm,
few 5 minute chat about things. And I could feel this relief on both sides. We were not locked into this thing anymore that we thought we have to, for some reason, push on, and it was so heavy, Angie. But it was heavy for her too, Angie. It wasn't heavy just for me.
When
You
you
see,
say
when I was
let
younger, I didn't realize it.
when you say let go, what does that look like for viewers? I mean, what we let go of,
Oh,
you know.
we just really dissociated. We just had really few. For a while, we completely dissociated, and then we had maybe a few chats a year or something like that, and you know they were completely
Mm,
fine. You know,
gotcha.
and if that she, you know, I just want to say this, like, we need to understand this, that when some relationship is really heavy, it's really a burden, it goes both ways, okay? People don't understand this. They often pile so much guilt on themselves, saying, oh, you know what I mean? I'm not, I should do better, I should try better, I should. But believe me, there is a burden, there is a heaviness on the other side too. My mom always wished to have a different daughter that I wasn't, a different child that was more like her, okay? There was more, you see what I mean? But I wasn't,
Mm,
Angie. I was just the opposite. I could not be more opposite than the way she was, the way I was. It was such a horrible burden, Angie. And once we let go, oh my God, you know. And I could even understand. I could understand it earlier, but with time, I could understand what a burden, Angie, it was for her to be a
mm,
good mother to a child like me, because it was nothing like what she would want, what she would expect, what she would find herself easy to, you know, deal with. Nothing like it. Everything was a bloody struggle.
mm.
So, you know, also in relationships, you know, people say, oh, I don't love this person anymore. It's so heavy. I just don't want to be, but I don't want to hurt them. But, you know, just be aware. Then there is a heaviness when there is a distance, when there is a whatever. It's on both sides. People on both sides experience, you know, it's not just one sided. You know what I mean? People are
Oh, so
deluding themselves when they think it's just one sided.
So you're saying the energy is just there and both are perceiving it. I mean, both are like feeling it.
Of course, Angie, it cannot be
Mm,
any other way, especially when they are supposedly close relationships. It cannot be any other way. The closer, the bigger the burden, the heavier, you know what I mean? And it's shared, Angie. This burden is shared. It's not just on one side.
I always picture the energy as like somehow personal, which I know it sounds like it isn't. It
It's
feels
not,
like it's
Angie.
internal to
It is
me or
not.
personal to me.
It is not personal. Nothing is personal. We perceive it as
Mm,
personal, but it's
right.
not that. You know, you can enter a space that is completely heavy, Angie. So heavy. You enter a room and it's so bloody heavy. You just want to go out, isn't it?
Mm,
It's there. It's not personal, Angie. Okay, but you walk into it. You are in it. You might as well walk out. You know what I mean?
right.
I just want to say, you see, these all these spaces. There are communal. I mean, collective. They're collective spaces. This universe is a collective space.
So by breathing and remembering the mantra, it feels like the space is always like peaceful, I guess the word is.
You see,
So,
because the mental activity, the mental aspect of it is clear. It's the mental aspect. It's the thoughts that make it heavy, Angie. It's it's the mental aspect that makes it heavy. By
so it's
itself, the space is not
mhm.
heavy.
So it's the thoughts
But
that
by
create the density?
yeah, you walk into the space and you bring yourself, your I, yourself, your all, you know,
Mm,
wants, needs, desires, aspirations, likes, no likes, whatever. And there are all these other people there who are bringing the same. And then we are in this space of mental concepts. And if it's one room and there are all these mental concepts that can be clashing, that can be really not in sync with each other, it's heavy. You
mm,
don't want to be there. Work environment like that, you don't want to be there, when people are just sort of, even by just being themselves, they bring themselves, their eyes, their egos, they're clashing, they're not in sync, they're forever fighting, they're forever competing, they're forever pushing each other down. This is not environment you want to be in.
right.
Because you see, now when we have a break, and if we can reach the space even a little bit through here, and we don't mentally engage, there is nothing to make it heavy, there is nothing to make it difficult, complex, heavy. And the challenge is to do it at any time, at any time. And with time, you're able to do it even when you notice that you are sad or anxious or angry, or you are able to connect with the breathing and the mantra and with the space and clear it. And this comes with practice, only with practice, only with practice. You know, Angie, I just want to say this will finish. I just want to say this one thing. You know, once you are able to identify the space within you and connect with that space more and more often and more, you really realize, Angie, that whatever is happening on this physical level is really not of such big importance, you know.
Mm.
And I'm just talking this, I'm not sharing this. This is, you know, experience from the space, you know. It is really not important or not very little. Because you always take this space as a measurement stick. And if it's something is not right, you change it, you know. And then once you're in a stream, it's always right anyway. But before you get in the stream, you take this as your measurement stick. If it's not in sync, if the environment, if wherever you're in, if the job or whatever else is not in sync with this, you change it, you know. And there
Mm.
is always something else. There is always something else. Even if it's not a job, it's something else. You know what I mean?
Right.
But really, once you get into the stream, things on a physical level fall in sync with the stream, you know, they sort of level out, you know.
Mm.
And that's a good thing to sort of understand, you know. Life really just becomes easy in a way that you are really, you know, just going with the space, you know. But you know, while you practice, and you need to practice, I mean, of course you need to practice. The practice becomes, the more you practice, it becomes very attractive, very pulling, very sort of
Mm.
inviting. It becomes a place to be. And it becomes a completely, you know, natural as it is natural. It's not anymore a push or a chore or a,
Right.
it's just really something that's just the way it is. And the more people are like that, Angie, the more the physical environment will be in sync with it. You know, this is the thing. What they once they get into the people get into the stream, what they experience on a physical level, apart from this big picture, we can't really change the big picture. But in their personal life is very much in sync with the stream, you know.
Right.
And if everyone was enlightened, then the whole big picture would be completely different anyway. Which it's no fear of happening in a hurry, is it?
Mhm. Right. Mm.
Anyway,
Thank you. It's been most helpful.
thank you. Thank you, Angie. Thank you all. And see you next time.
See you.